back. Return of the Mac. M.A.C. boss Andrew Carl back in the building. Episode 186. What's happening?
We motherfucking back.
Yes,
it's
we are.
the Mac. Gang over everything.
Oh, talk to him right quick.
Yeah. Gotta turn this bitch up a little bit.
What's good with you gentlemen, though?
Mm-hmm. Nothing, man. Nothing. Chilling. You owe me like 10 cents, bro.
What do I owe you for?
10 cents.
Spit my gum out.
You owe me more than that for holding us up for 35 minutes.
What do you mean? It won't that long, man. I let you know it was. It was like 45.
Yeah, get out of here.
I'll let you know I was going to be late, man.
I'm going to just say, because I checked it too. You did the same thing last week.
What?
You say 5:30 in the morning when we talk. You say, yeah, I'll be good by 5:30. And then about 5 o'clock, you say, it's going to be more like 5:45 or 6 o'clock. Why don't you just tell us from the beginning we ain't starting until 6?
That's my intention is to do it at 5:30. But I'm like, yo, when I'm looking at it, I'm like, this shit ain't going to work out that way. By the time
Never work out.
I got kids and shit, man. Somebody got to watch them before I go.
Hey, I feel you. I'm just saying. In the morning, I don't believe you anymore.
Nah.
When we say, what time we good for tonight?
I thought about that on the way over here, too, though. I was like, man, I'm just going to start saying 6. Yeah, I got to give myself that hour buffer.
We'll give you a little extra time.
I got to give myself that hour buffer.
Otherwise, the extra time.
It's not going to happen.
I feel you. Hey, it is what it is. We here recording. Ain't no thing. I just had to give you shit for it. 10 cents for his gum. Get the fuck out of here.
You owe me 10 cents, bro.
Tax season. I know you ain't broke.
That's the long-lasting flavor, dog. I still have some flavor left in there.
It's just another issue with bad time management if you put it in right before the pod.
Yeah. Probably was a smart thing to do.
Not at all. What's good with you, though? I don't care what's good with him anymore.
Shit,
he
man.
started off with a 10-cent
busy. Fucking busy ass week last week, bro. Working. But, it's cool. Another week to get it.
I hear that.
Hopefully everything's square off like it's supposed to.
Busy for any particular reason or just one of those weeks?
Yeah, it's just like, I guess it's time of the month. Like the people that we feed, they get like a 3-month stipend. So they got to use it up because the shit don't roll over.
Oh, gotcha.
So they got double time in the orders and shit. Going to be a little extra, but it's all
Might as well. I remember doing that at the end of it was more like end of semester when I did it.
Just any and everything just being bought. Like,
we would have so much, like, it was like points, so many points left over in the last couple of weeks. It's like,
got to use that shit up.
Just buying everything.
Basically grocery shopping.
Yeah, may as well.
Get that shit off.
Busy as hell for me, so I'm training somebody new. And it's not hard. I kind of like doing it, but it is 8:30 to 5, one-on-one, sitting with somebody, teaching them everything I know.
Oh, damn.
So it's long days. I was exhausted last week, but it is what it is. Regular work.
Territory, dog.
Yeah, what can you do? Got to make this money.
Yeah, for sure.
That's true, indeed.
For sure, first and foremost.
True, indeed.
What's up with you?
Nothing.
Give you another shot at it.
Nothing, man. Nothing, dog. I'm about to be out on leave again for
he took my spot now he get all the vacations.
Yeah, he don't.
It's not a vacation.
He don't never work.
Yeah.
It was more of an announcement when he came back for 2 weeks. Now he's going back to normal. This was like vacation. Coming to work for 2 weeks.
Bro, it's been longer than 2 weeks. I've been at work for like a month.
Oh, okay. 4 weeks.
It's been about 5 weeks I've been back at work. So, I'm going to take my time. And from there,
I ain't mad at it. Work smarter, not harder.
This is why he's got so many kids.
Right.
He just wants time off.
Got too much leisure time.
Just wants time off.
Bro, I've only been able to use it for 2 of my children. So, no.
So you're trying to make sure you get the most out of it since you missed the first one?
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It's a 3 times in a lifetime for you. What are you talking about?
Just saying. I mean, it's got to be a cutoff at some point. I feel like when they be like, man, you got like 16 kids.
All right, yeah. What are we doing?
Yeah.
It's like an every year thing. Right. That time of the year again.
I'm going out.
Baby number 7 on the way.
That would legit be funny if they were like, you're abusing your paternity time. Or, I'm sorry, you don't get it this time.
I don't think they could do that.
I can't imagine they can.
Yeah, I don't think they can.
That would be wild, though, if you got into that territory where you're on 8 or 9.
At some point, they'll like sponsor your vasectomy or some shit like that.
That's wild.
Like,
sponsorship for
create a program.
We've run the calculations, and we would actually save more money paying for your surgery.
We would reimburse you.
Yeah. Just keep your ass at work
We'll
longer.
just put it right on your check. So no worries.
That's fun.
No. Yeah, I mean, nothing new for me, man.
This is super random, but I went to Cracker Barrel Saturday morning with my dad, and the waiter said that he has 17 kids.
Damn. Holy shit.
I don't even remember how it came up, but he said he had 17 kids, and that his name was 7. And wasn't there like a movie or something like that where they had like just named the kids different numbers? I know they did Days of the Week. There was
Pretty sure it's been done before. I can't think of it right now.
It's not a common name, but it's not a rare name. It's a name used often.
I wouldn't say often.
I've heard 7 as a name.
You say 17 kids. I bet he gets no check.
Yeah, right.
When his check comes through, he ain't getting taking no money home, boy.
Look, there's no way you got that with. Is he Mormon?
I have no.
No way you got 17 kids with one woman,
based
or 2 for that matter.
Oh yeah,
that's 4 baby mamas at the minimum.
Are black people
getting hit in the head?
No,
he wasn't Mormon.
Okay. Oh, he got 6 baby mamas then.
I don't know.
If it was a white dude, I was gonna say he probably got 4, but a black dude, he got that's all 6 baby mamas.
Yeah, he best be trying to get paid under the table. Because he ain't getting bringing no check home with all them kids.
Whatever he doing, he underachieving. It's like, dog, you a Cracker Barrel. You need to be, I don't know, cracking a barrel over somebody's head. You need to be robbing somebody. You need to.
And that cracking a barrel.
I feel bad. I gave too many details. I should have left out where we were at if I gave his name. This was a nice dude. He was a great waiter.
Right.
Cool guy. Seemed like a good dude. But when he said the number of kids, I was blown away.
I'm sure you wouldn't take offense if you heard this because that's an astronomical amount.
That is, yeah. This can't be the first time you got a shocked response when you mention that.
Like
he beating Nick right now. He got more than Nick.
Didn't look old enough to have that many kids.
No,
like the math didn't even seem to work.
If I was him, I would just get paternity tests done and just see how lucky I can get. Like maybe one of these not mine.
It's got to be one.
Gotta be one.
What's
the chances all of these are yours?
You invest in some condoms, boy.
Might be a
it's
good
too late for those now.
Damn.
At this point,
it's too late for those now.
Somebody should have had it talking to.
Yeah.
Good dude though, from what I could tell. I don't know why I brought that up, but it just felt like we were talking about kids. That's what it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if he was working at a job, there's no way they'd let him keep taking that paternity time.
No, yeah, absolutely.
You reached your max. It's actually a 10-year limit on this.
Doing that shit for 17 years straight is wild as shit. Get that shit off for 17 years. It's probably all sprawled out, so it's longer than that.
Well, at that point, you'll probably be able to like calculate exactly when you'll be off from like inception, conception to when the baby is actually born and stuff. You're like, oh, I know I'm gonna be off for this period. We'll just take vacation in.
Literally every 10 months.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Could never be me.
Hopefully not. I wouldn't recommend that for you.
You're on your way, brother. You're on your way.
Hard stop, bro.
Anyway, let's get into some topics. Let's talk some music or something.
Yeah,
we're gonna switch it up this week. We said, right?
Get to that point of the year where motherfuckers starting to drop again. Some new projects out there a little bit.
I've noticed the last few weeks you get a couple of bigger names on singles and a few random projects here and there. Still haven't hit the full. It's time to get the music dropping,
right. A lot of the bigger artists will come later, but people dropping though. They starting,
no doubt.
At the start off, but that boy T-Pain. Teddy Pender.
It's too talented. The kid is too talented.
Big cover album.
Thought it was a really cool idea.
On top of the covers. As he has named it.
Good name. Good cover art.
What is he doing?
I don't know.
Hitting Freddie Gibbs.
On the bed, on top of the covers.
You said Freddie Gibbs.
Yeah, Teddy.
Who did he copy though? It's Teddy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
But the cover is 8 songs on the album. Yeah. Like Moss said, all covers. He just hit so many different genres and stuff.
That Don't Stop Believing though.
You like?
It's a great song.
All right, so
it's a great song.
So I was
Don't Stop Believing. What's the original? I mean, I know
Journey, white classic.
Oh wow!
Journey is the band that did it.
Sing it for me.
We gotta hook that up. We gotta hook that up for him.
I'm not gonna sing it for you. I'll give you.
Yeah, just go ahead and play his.
I was about to say. I'm not gonna say what I was about to say. But continue on with the list while I get this pulled up.
Don't Stop Believing, Sharing the Night Together, Scrangs, Stay With Me, Sam Smith.
Scrangs.
Tennessee Whiskey.
I don't know what that one was. That was
Tennessee Whiskey?
just instrumental.
Tennessee Whiskey.
Did Tennessee Whiskey did that?
No, everybody loved
Did
Tennessee
War
Whiskey.
Pigs.
I don't know Tennessee Whiskey like that. I knew the name and I knew it was country
Pretty big song.
but I
to
didn't
the
really
whites.
know it like that.
That's a white classic for sure.
I know
That's
a
a
lot.
white classic.
Black people love Tennessee Whiskey too, though.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
More like a country. It's a real country song.
Yeah,
Black
I knew
people
it was
love
a country
Tennessee
song.
Whiskey, though.
There was a relatively newer, like one of the big country singers today does it and did it recently. I can't think of who it was. That was the main reason I knew the name.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty big.
That one was all right. I liked the Frank Sinatra cover. That's Life.
Okay.
That joint was fire. I thought he killed that. And then the Black Sabbath War Pigs. That's like 70s heavy metal, and he covered that thing and killed it.
Yeah.
Killed it.
I mean, it was pretty much a white classic cover album.
It kind of
was all white classics. No black classics.
Don't Stop Believing, though, Journey.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm not plugged in.
I got it.
Come on. You heard it. You know that song.
I think I gotta let it ride a little bit.
I'll plug in.
We gotta plug up.
Yeah, that intro is when it goes hard.
Yeah. Living in a lonely world.
Oh, they fucked me up because it's like you played the actual song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you was gonna play the
I thought you
T-Pain
was gonna
version.
play. I was like, man, he's killing it. I was like, yo, it sounds just like it. This isn't a cover.
You said you didn't know the song, so I was playing you the
I know
actual
that song. Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, but anyway, I thought it was
solid?
great. What's that?
Think it was solid?
I did. I really liked it. I just like creative shit. Like I'm not as we've talked about a lot on here.
Right.
I haven't been that pulled into much new music, whether it's hip hop, R&B, whatever. I really listen to a lot of old music. I just prefer it at this point.
So him making the album doing old songs.
Yeah, doing old
Exactly.
songs, of course, but just doing something new, different, creative. I thought was really cool. I guess it's hard to say something new when it's covers, but
Right.
just something different, I guess is all I'm trying to say. I thought it was really good. And like we've heard before, you've heard the clips and stuff of him singing without auto-tune. And I think it's pretty well known at this point that he can really sing. But I thought he really killed some of those songs. They were dope.
Oh, he did a good job. I was kind of disappointed a little bit. Just a little bit.
It's super slow.
Well, more so because I heard him talking about this album a few months ago. Because I'll be watching this podcast and shit sometimes. But I was expecting a lot better song choice. But maybe that might be like what's the word I'm thinking of? A clearance problem or some shit like that. Maybe you can only do certain songs.
Nah, I got an answer on that.
Oh, you do?
We'll get to it.
Okay.
If you don't.
Because I feel like you could have picked some. I mean, there was some good ones on there. I ain't gonna lie, but you could.
You want some black classics?
I need some black classics.
All right, let's just
I need
say
some black
it.
classics.
Let's just say it. 'Cause
I ain't gonna lie.
These are top songs. If
I
they
need
weren't what
black
you were
classics.
feeling, I hear you.
Yeah, I need some.
Could have done some like R&B classics.
You could have.
Like
you
some
could have got that shit
70s
off
joints.
and killed that shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I mean, don't he do shit like that all the time? No, he make R&B classics. So it's just almost like, why not flip these other?
I assume that was the
Songs.
thought process.
Yeah, just
Maybe.
doing
But there's
something.
like a
be
big
different.
difference between like T-Pain R&B and flipping some like 70s classics.
Sure.
Yeah, that should be fire.
Yeah, I would like to hear that too. I'm down to listen to any T-Pain, to be honest with you. But
Legendary. I just wonder why he did it. Like, he can't be you don't get paid off of this, right?
all right, I'll go ahead and drop it now since both of y'all have commented on this, and I thought the same thing is why I had to look it up. As soon as I heard it, I was like, how do you make any money covering everybody else's songs? Like, we've heard plenty of stuff about samples and dudes getting taken to the bank for 95% of their royalties when they sample and don't give the credit and stuff like this. So I thought this was super interesting.
A cover, you probably like own certain rights or something.
There's rules in place that anybody can cover anybody's song. There's like, you don't have to get approval from the original artist. They can't deny you access to be able to do it. There's certain rules in that you can't change any of the lyrics. You have to keep all of the lyrics the same. But as long as you do, you can cover anybody, and there's a set price that covered songs make. And it's not that much. It was 9.1%. It was 9.1 cents per unit sold.
Damn.
Automatically goes to the original artist. But that's all. Like, it's set in stone rules. There's no negotiation. There's no asking for permission. It's just set that way. I was kind of shocked by
so unless your shit goes diamond, you ain't gonna make nothing off this, right? Off these.
Well, no, he was saying that's to the original artist. They only get less than a cent, right? The original artist gets less than a cent.
The original artist gets 0.9%?
Yeah. I mean,
so they get the short end of their song?
Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much.
Wow.
So
that's wild.
Like, why rap
That's
anymore?
wild. I thought you said the other way
around. Go
around.
back to all like Wayne's old catalog and just re-release all that shit. Just him
I don't think it would work for rap. Even
Why
though
not?
Where Logic tried to get that shit off.
It'd be an interesting concept. I think.
Why not? Why wouldn't it work for rap?
Yeah, I think it would. Because, like,
what's the difference?
I don't want to hear another rapper spin somebody else's rhymes.
Somebody do.
That's not the cover.
But, I mean, the point is that somebody will listen to
you're
it.
just saying you don't want to
for
listen.
me doing nothing.
I mean,
but karaoke.
Has anybody ever done that? Nobody's ever covered rap songs.
Nah, so I mean, with the cover though,
like, singing songs.
People do that, but they sing them. They'll cover the rap song, but they'll sing it.
If you change it, yeah, all right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
You're not just gonna be rapping somebody else's raps.
No.
as your cover, nobody want to hear that.
Yeah, agreed.
I wouldn't think.
Maybe not. You don't know. But all I'm saying is that you could just do that and release it. Somebody's gonna listen to it, and you will be making money off of literally nothing of just like playing karaoke.
There's this dude. It's like, I'm trying to think of what other music you would compare it to. It's like alternative rock. So it's like slow. Coldplay is not a great example, but like think like Coldplay type music. Okay. This dude's name is Ben Rector. Jamie used to listen to him. He's the one that showed me this. He does a cover of Ice Cube's "Bitches Ain't Shit," and he sings the whole joint.
I've seen a lot of people do that.
And it's like, it sounds hilarious with him singing it like a soulful, meaningful song. And he's like, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. It's hilarious though. Or just, I never thought about it, but that's another cover. So you could cover it, but it would have to be, you'd have to be singing and stuff. I can't imagine somebody else
do that. I was just thinking like somebody rapping somebody else's raps. That's not the same. If that was a lucrative thing, people would be doing it. There's a reason why you don't see it.
Agree.
I mean, I think it's just a lot of pride in rap, of writing your own lyrics and rapping your own shit. Look, if somebody could make money off of doing this shit, they would do it. They would do it. And I'm not going to sit there and say it's impossible.
Nah, well, I mean,
because
I think what Moss is saying though is just that's not going to be something people want to listen to. Sure, you could do it.
Maybe not. What if you changed the beat and just made it a modern record? Like they do with
pretty much sampling the song. Like that's different.
That's not sampling. No. We just said that's a cover record.
It has to be word for word on the lyrics.
The word for word, just the lyrics, so I can change the beat. That's what I'm saying. Like I can put that shit to anything I want, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is not. It's
very
long.
possible to do. We're not saying it's an impossible thing. We're just saying people are not going to do that shit.
Yeah,
because don't nobody want to hear somebody.
Somebody might want to hear it, bro. I'm just saying. People sample beats all the time. People want to listen to that shit. People said some high shit before. You might want to listen to it over a different beat.
I mean, people kind of do that when they sample records and use the hook of the record and make their single out of it.
Right, so don't tell me you can't make a good song.
But they're not saying the song verbatim, word for word, rapping it. Like, that's not the same thing.
You already know the lyrics. You already know the lyrics. So easy for you to love this song.
But you'll try to do it, bro. It's an open market. It's a fucking open market right there.
I'm just saying it's interesting now that you say that.
It's an open market. I don't see nobody taking advantage of that.
This article that was talking about the lawsuit from when Blurred Lines came out. Mm-hmm. And they got took to the cleaners. They took everything that song ever made. And like the guy writing the article was just basically saying like they copied so much that if they would have just done it as a cover and did like tribute to Marvin Gaye, they would have been much better off. And then he started getting into the actual rules and laws and numbers and stuff behind it. I just was shocked because my immediate reaction when he dropped the covers is there's no way you can make anything but pennies off of this. The majority would have to go to the prior artist. Yeah. And once I found this out, it's totally different.
That's why you got like cover bands and shit like that out there that go on tour doing other people's songs. So it's like people make money off this shit. So it's got to be some type of lucrative aspect to it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Not what I would have expected.
Just I don't know about rap artists. Not rap.
Out on tour performing. It's like karaoke.
No. You don't want to see just anybody rapping fucking Hove lyrics.
They might be dope.
Like,
you never know.
Talking about? Like,
you never know.
This is not gonna hit the same.
What if it's like a live show and shit? Like you got somebody playing the drums.
You know how
that's how you make people interested in. I think. That type of element too.
What show was that? Was it on VH1? It was like a tribute show where they would tribute somebody. And they would have performers come out and rap their songs or whatever, do their records. Right, It was a show about that. And that shit ain't last long because it wasn't good. Nobody can do another person's rap song the same way that they do it and it be like entertaining. This shit was bad. Yeah. Like everybody fucked up people's songs for the most part.
That's because they fucked them up. They were professionals at it.
It was professional. It was real rappers and real entertainers doing it.
You just lack the vision.
They won't get just anybody's to do it. It was like actual fucking stars.
You lack the vision
rappers and shit.
I'm thinking.
They had Rich Homie. You remember Rich Homie spit Biggie's verse?
He didn't know any of the lyrics. He didn't know any of that. Was terrible. I don't know why they elected him to do it.
Why you get Rich Homie to spit Biggie verses?
I'm going to print you out a couple Tupac verses. And, by next week, we'll have a couple cover songs ready.
Well, you telling me to fucking do?
Yeah, if you got the vision, why don't you got the execution?
Yeah, you do it, man. Huh? I seen the mic hooked up at your crib a couple weeks ago, sitting on the wall ready to go. I be spit your Tupac shit, bro. Do that shit, bro.
No, I got my own shit too fresh. But I'm telling you is
why you telling me to do it?
We can get you
I don't think it's good. If you think it's good, you should do it. We play on the pod next week.
You're closer to a bald head than me, so you can do the Tupac look. I can't really execute that part. I'm talking about the entire package here. So, like,
you cover 2 Chainz.
Huh?
Yeah, you cover 2 Chainz.
Nah, his shit too recent.
Pastor Troy. Pastor Troy. Huh?
Nah, bro. Nah. I'm not covering anybody that I'm already doper than.
There we go.
But, yeah.
So anyway,
moving on.
Based off you saying 2 Chainz is too recent, kind of leads me to the Pete Rock conversation that I had mentioned to y'all. Did y'all see anything about this?
I ain't heard nothing about this.
You didn't? He had some, I think it was on social media or something, but he made some kind of post about new artists are sampling from hits from 3 years ago. And he had laughing emojis and stuff. And he was like, no more digging in the crates. I thought it was just interesting. It does seem that way, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't say as recent as 3 years, but at least 10 to 15 years ago.
Yeah, kind of relatively recent. You haven't, what are your thoughts on that? Of sampling a song that was a hit within the last decade?
It's a market for it. It's definitely a market for it. People have had big hit records off doing that shit. But at the same time, it is like on the lazier side of using a sample, per se, because it's not that long ago. Most samples that we grew up on was fucking samples from the 70s and 80s and 90s. It was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was shit from at least 20-some years ago. People were sampling. Now people are doing shit that we was listening to in high school, making fucking new versions of that shit. So it was like, I don't know. But it's a market for it. It's working. A lot of people got hits.
Yeah, so for sure.
I don't know. I think if you probably look back at the history of it, it's probably like of just music. You might not call it sampling, but it's still stealing or taking from, like, it's been going on for forever. So
yeah, it ain't gonna stop.
Regardless, I'm saying of how new or once that like it's available to the world, like somebody's always gonna take from it, regardless of how old or new it is.
And I think about it, it sounds like it might be like a shot at that Future record using that Tim sample. Cause that Tim sample was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
But now it's a hit record again now with her singing the same way she sang on the original song.
I took it as like him being like one of those like real artistry type dudes that really took pride in sampling like obscure random records and shit like that, and just not liking the wave of people taking new songs and stuff. Yeah. Like you said, I mean, like from a perspective of does it work or not? Clearly it works, and it's done really well the last couple of years or whatever. I do think it is. I think there is something like, I think the part of sampling I like the most though is seeing like the crazy stuff that got sampled, like from some of our favorite producers. And they took songs that like, why would you be listening to some Arabian random track that has no vocals? It's just like some random instrumental Arabian song, and they flip it into something crazy.
It's just to tell the times. You can say it like some old ass shit, like they literally used to dig through the crates for fucking samples. So
that seems
it's some
cool
shit like that, but now everything is fast. Everybody needs it now, so you're gonna grab the hit that worked 15 years ago and we're gonna run that shit back. And if people like it, people gonna keep on doing it. And that's exactly what's happening.
Right. I mean, how many of these producers nowadays are actually spinning vinyl records? They're not like that's where like. I mean, the era we grew up in, the people who was producing, especially sampling records, like, they used to have, like, Lakim used to have thousands of records and shit. I can't imagine a kid producing now going to a fucking record store like that. Like,
nah, probably not, but like, that's just
taking that.
Even that is
YouTube
easier now,
like
too.
that.
Everything's digital. You can go find any record and song that you want for the most part.
But I'm saying,
that's what I was going to say.
The record store is going to have, you're not going to, the only records you go into are the ones that you already know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to the record store, you're going to just pick up some random shit.
That's true.
That's what, you know what I'm saying? Like, now you done fell into this because I've just been listening to this record and this part is dope. You just going to pick up what you know. You're going to type in on the internet the shit that you know or that's recent to you. You know, you're not going to know to type in some Japanese artist in 1973 if you're a fucking 15-year-old producer nowadays or even a 20-year-old producer.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just like, I think that's just, to me, that's just a different instrument. I mean, you're right. People don't usually do that, but like Mo said, I mean, it's all accessible. You could very easily like look up random alt rock or random reggae or some shit from whatever decade, get a couple of references of like who are good people to look up and find something that's kind of unique or different. Like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing the new style of what they're doing. If you're making hits and making money and that's what you want to do, that's what it is. But like some of the times we talk about this stuff, there's not a right or wrong.
Right.
But the artistry of somebody that's like interested in trying to find something unique and put on a total different spin on it is what I think is dope about sampling. So I kind of like what he's saying.
The big issue is like taking time to find a gem. Yeah. Instead of just picking up the easiest, bottom of the tree shit that you can find. You know what I'm saying? So that makes sense. Because there's like the lazy side of it that you're not digging and trying to really search for some shit like, oh shit, I never heard this shit before. Like,
when I think of that, I think of that as sampling. When you're looking for something random, obscure, whatever unique, whatever you want to call it. The stuff that's more recent to nowadays, like I'm not saying there's a big difference between it, but I would call that more like just putting a flip on a recent record. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like there is a difference. There's not like a big tangible, a flip, a sample, whatever you want to call it. But to me, sampling is like going to find something. If you take a hot record that was big 7 years ago and it's like, yo, let's flip that Fab R&B joint. Yeah. It's like, okay, you flipped it. That's kind of cool. I can.
This shit is hard.
I can listen to this.
I feel like a good producer does it all though. Like he's not just looking, for the most abstract, obscure sample in the world. He's also.
I disagree. I think the better producers are looking for the shit that they think nobody's ever heard.
No, that's not the case. Otherwise, all producers wouldn't have sampled Sade. That sample, all of them do that. All of them sample the same records when you go back because they just experiment to see if they can put their own sauce on. They're looking at people who inspired them, and that's what they use and stuff like that. So I'm just saying, like innovation in itself is just
still some old shit. A lot of people have never heard Sade.
So what I'm saying is just like if all producers were like so original, they would once they heard one person use it, they wouldn't use it again. But they did.
I didn't say all. I said
they
the great
countless
ones.
times.
I said the great ones.
Well, I'm saying, that's just one example of a bunch of people who've been sampled a bunch of times, or a bunch of records, or a bunch of songs that's been sampled thousands of times by the greatest of producers in the world. Innovation is rare when it comes to stuff like that. Everybody's kind of cherry picking at a certain point to say, "Oh, I know this gonna make a hit. Then why not use it?" That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that like heavily or anything. I think if you can do both, if you can make new hits out of recent hits and find some just random classic stuff that other people aren't already hip to, I think that would probably make you a more well-rounded, better producer. But I
just feel like a good producer is trying to make something that's dope, regardless of what era or where it came from. Like, let's create something that's dope. and move on from there. Like that's it. Like I think we might be thinking about it too deep when you say, "Oh, you pulling from this era." It's all music. Like it's all contributed and used for you to pull from at that point. Sure. Once it's out in that atmosphere.
I agree with that, but it is levels. There's levels.
Yeah, like that. When we talk
like
about
everything,
when we talk about, you're big on innovation. We're talking about a new rapper that comes out. Though. But if you're talking about a new rapper that comes out that really like presents a new, unique style that isn't popular amongst the other tons and tons of artists that you're hearing at this whatever current point in time that you're in. There's like a higher level of respect you usually would have for that artist. Like they really stepped outside the box and creating some kind of new lane for themselves. I just look at it the same way. Whereas like, like I said, there's nothing wrong with taking a hit that was just recently, but like, that hit works. So if you make that and turn it into another great hit, props to you. It sounds like you produced that song well. But if there's somebody else that's like, really trying to find some new type of, trying to take a sound from somewhere that you wouldn't normally expect to come from hip hop and then turns that into a hip hop song. Yeah. Then I do think, like most are saying, like there's a different level to that. That takes a different level of creativity.
And your Kanye's. That's where you get those guys that pick the sample. Like, where the fuck did he get this sound from? And
I think Kanye used. I mean, he was pulling from the same samples that most producers his time was using. Like that's all I'm saying. Like,
I disagree.
I was around like a lot of producers around that era. Like that's what the samples, that's the type of vibes and beats they was making, like Kanye West like type stuff. Not saying that the Kanye West level
exactly.
producers
After Kanye. Yeah, exactly.
No, this was before Kanye was Kanye though. This was the era. This was the style of beats in which people were making on that MPC. It was a sound in which came out of it. Like it was just a different era. That's all I'm saying. But I don't know. To me, I just see it differently overall.
But every single week when we do samples, not every single one that we have is some crazy sample. It's like, whoa, where did that come from? But like, I think we've even used some that Drake, Noah has produced. That is like, you play the original song and then we show what they flipped it to and it's like, yo, that's crazy. I would have never thought to use something like that. Right. Even if it's not 50 years old, they just found something. Like I said, I hate to keep saying obscure or unique. It's just like,
but you can do that with something that's recent though,
because the whole goal is to be.
I'm saying like a lot of Rod Wave samples and stuff like that. It'll be like from a recent song, but it's just a different genre.
Yeah,
well, I don't think Rod Wave beats are top of the line beats to me either. I think they're really they're just what they are. They work for him.
They make hit records.
They work for him.
Though.
Yeah, they work for him.
Let's just make something.
It's not that it's wrong, but I'm not. Anybody trying to see who Rod Wave's producer is because he's like the most talented fucking producer you've ever heard. They just make good Rod Wave beats.
I'm sure he's getting his money right now. But all I'm saying is, like, you can say that Timberland shit is innovative, but then again, it's not because he took it from like innovation is so rare, bro. Like. And then the person,
so you're saying anybody to sample ain't innovative.
Well, no, and then the person who is the innovator is likely never known. The person who invented or who innovated the whatever you're talking about is likely not the person to get the credit for what the style is or what it is. It's probably the person who did it next. You get what I'm saying? Like innovation is so rare, we don't even know who created some certain things or where they got it from on a lot of different levels.
Speaking about the unknown now, this is speaking about what we know.
Yeah, I mean,
to say this, they got there from somebody. Yeah, everybody was inspired by something and shit that they hear.
I hate to speak for Pete Rock, but I think what he was talking about is taking a hit top 10 charting single from 4 years ago and flipping it nowadays as a sample. Is lazy. Where when do
we see that?
When you're talking about when you say something that's like a relatively recent song, but it's from some different genre, I would think that falls in the same category. It's not about age, about how far back you went. It's about finding something that's kind of outside the box and then making that some kind of creative flip into a hip hop song.
What do you have an example of something that he's talking about?
He didn't give any examples, so I don't have any.
That Future with the Tim sample. I'll wait for you.
Oh, I mean, maybe. I don't
Tim's
remember.
album came out like 2 or 3 years ago.
I don't remember.
It was a big record for her. It was off of her like most well-known albums that like put her on the map type shit. It was like a big record for her.
I remember talking about that
when it was another hit smash again.
Yeah.
People love that Tim's record.
Did you know Tim's before?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't know. Did you know Tim's before that record?
Tim's is huge, dog.
I knew the name. I don't know her music.
I still have never heard any of it. Probably. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know her.
But you just gotta be tapped in. If you don't like that type of music, you're not gonna listen to it.
But wouldn't that be stepping outside the box though? She would be a different genre.
No, Afrobeats is super popping right now, bro.
I'm saying that would be different from hip hop though. So that wouldn't be a good example of what you're speaking of. Do you have an example of what we're talking about?
It is. You just trying to denounce who Tim's is because you're not familiar with Tim's. I just told you it was a huge record for her that they flipped and made another huge record out of. That was a few years ago. It's the perfect example of it. Just because you're not tapped in with who Tim's is does not mean it now is all of a sudden not a big record. But if it was such a big record, then I would have been tapped in with. If it was as big as, I would have been tapped in. Okay. That's all I'm saying. That's not true though. You're not tapped into everything. You're not listening to a lot of music. I mean, I would have heard it eventually. There's not a lot of new music.
You said this came out a couple years ago.
You never heard of Tim's? Is that what you're saying?
Not before this song came out. Not before.
You never heard Tim's before the Future record?
Yeah, not before.
Oh, you are? Then you're not tapped in because she's been popping for the last 3 years.
Let's be honest. You don't have the greatest track record.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Going outside of the stuff that you like.
Well, no, I'm just trying to make an example of what's popular. I'm trying to make an example of the fact that you just sat here and said like, oh, when you're reaching out and doing something and flipping it, that's different because you're reaching out and you're doing something different from, it's not, you're not flipping another hip hop record. They're not flipping another hip hop. That's a bad example of what you just said though. I told you
verbatim
whatever the fuck she was doing.
He didn't give an example, so I don't have one. This is an opinion thing. I'm not trying to prove a point here. I'm saying his point, what I took from what he said is that like the effort of looking for something unique is different than just taking a hit record from recent and flipping it.
Nobody said it had to be a rap record. That was a hit record.
Yeah, I've been putting the label on there 4 or 5 years ago. But you look at the Pop Smoke joint, all of those are relatively recent. He flipped like 6 R&B records that are not that old.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that though.
Yeah, but that may be a better example for what I'm saying. I said 3 or 4 years ago, and those are obviously going to be more like 10 to 12. But the
15,
maybe 15.
Yeah.
But the idea is it's another hit from before, and of course there are older songs that did the exact same thing, where they were hits from the '80s that they flipped later. But it was a more well-known process of producers looking for random shit than there is today. I think that's the only point.
I don't know if that could be proven or quantified or anything like that. That's all I'm saying. Is like
we gotta use common sense at a certain point.
I think to bring it all home.
I don't see that a lot. That's what I'm saying.
You already said just a minute ago. Your argument 10, 15 minutes ago was, well, back then they're going to record stores, so of course they're finding more random, unique stuff, and now we don't know any way to quantify it. Like, which side are you saying?
Well, what I'm saying is that, I mean, that could be a reasoning behind it. Of course, they're going into record stores like that, but we still don't know. I mean, when I listen to records, I'm not saying, well, I don't hear anything that's like, oh, this was same record from 4 years ago. I might hear a sample from when I was growing up, but I think everybody who turns 30 probably experiences that. Oh, they're flipping another record. Oh, they're making another remake of a movie I watched growing up. It's just, like I said, innovation is rare. It's like, that's what's going to happen with things that are out there in the universe. People grab them and remake them.
Sure.
Yeah, my point stands. I have more respect for something that does some digging to look for something creative than using a hit song. That's my personal preference. It is what it is. If you don't care, then
Scarface is a classic. It's a remake.
Okay.
Just saying.
Good for you. If you don't appreciate it as much, that's fine. You don't have to. I'm sticking with what I said.
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's all I'm just saying. It's a classic. It's a remake, though. You can't get stuck on this, oh, he did it first type shit. Or,
it's not about who did it first. It's about effort. Yeah. This is when we've had similar conversations to this in a different vein when we talk about artists not writing down their shit and artists that used to put more effort into what they were writing. It's just a different style. Some people don't care, and it doesn't mean anything to them. I prefer to see an artist that puts in more effort to their video, their lyrics, their sampling, whatever the case is. I just appreciate that they put effort into it. I'm not impressed by somebody that says, I can put out 100 hits and record them all tomorrow. They could be 100% correct, and they may get dumb rich off it. I'm just saying that's not what I value.
Cool.
That is what it is.
Tell the times. That's all it is.
What else do we have music related?
What do we have music related? I think that might have been... There's some new shit that dropped.
Well, non-sports related, I guess I should say. I think you had a couple topics that aren't specifically music.
Oh, yeah. We can move on to something different since we get off of music. What do you want to go with? Fucking Adam 22, y'all hear about him?
Yeah.
I watched a decent amount of stuff on it.
We got to get on that for sure.
There's a lot of shit coming up about Adam 22, boy. It's not looking good for you, boy.
Maybe.
He's looking terrible right now.
Stressed.
He looking how stressed. He look right now.
You gotta be stressed.
Right, he looks how he looks.
Go ahead and tell us what these things are.
So basically the walls are caving in on Adam 22 and the No Jumper podcast or conglomerate, you want to call it, because they got a few shows over there.
They got a ton.
Yeah, they got a lot of shit.
They got
and
sports
basically
shows.
Just about everybody that you know that does podcasts with them is left. I don't really remember all their names. One was like AD and Trail. I knew about Trail. I ain't know about
AD has been with them since the beginning.
Yeah.
AD and House Phone were like the two people.
House Phone got fired a couple months back.
Or it was like really like a couple weeks ago. Yeah. I don't know if he got. You see the blow up they had, him and House Phone?
Yeah,
like they got in a fight.
Yeah.
Pretty much on the pod and shit. Like, I mean, he did. I mean. And the reason why that they got into a fight was pretty fucked up on Adam 22's part. I feel like
yeah, they say it was like a few things that stemmed up in like the tipping point.
Well, no, he exposed
interviewing the Nazi thing.
He had an interview of with a trans woman or whatever on the show, and pretty much the trans woman confessed that she was with his friend House Phone on the podcast, and he still put that podcast out and was like pretty much wasn't really talking shit about him, but like acknowledging the fact like. Oh man, that's crazy. I don't know if we could be friends anymore after this comes out. And just some real dirtbag low shit. Like, right. I guess your friends shouldn't be with trans people, but it ain't your business to be putting it out there to the fucking world. Right. Like, that's fucked up.
It's all about the content, getting the views. He ain't thinking about nothing else.
Yeah, but it still it gotta be a line drawn somewhere, like just morally as a person.
Some type of loyalty.
For somebody that's your friend, I can see if you didn't know that person and then you just dropped the name. Whatever, cool. But there's somebody who like your best friend.
Right.
That's fucked up. Like, that just shows me you a different level of a like sick person. Like, you don't give a fuck about nobody for real.
I mean, it just shows me why I kind of never really like rock with Adam 22 like that. Because I just feel like he just uses hip hop and black culture to exploit it.
Oh,
that's all his content is just exploiting hip hop culture, beefs, game talk, shit like that. It's like why is this what your podcast is about?
He surrounded himself with gang members.
Oh, this man,
he knows nothing of that blown stuff. But at the same time, it's not his fault. I mean, they allowed him in it. They benefited off of it just as. They can say what they want, but they wouldn't have been in that space if they won't benefit.
It is his fault, and if they was brought into it on some like genuine, like you said, they was best friends. Like I think he said M.A.C was best friends when they got into this, and you got them into this shit. So if you go into it like that, and then motherfuckers start doing wild shit to you, it's a different thing.
What I'm saying is like
everybody's getting paid off of it. He made a lot of these gangbangers and stuff that do a lot of crazy clips.
Sharp was a pimp.
Sharp's a wild dude. Not a huge fan.
And an awful podcast.
He's too much.
This dude is awful at his job.
Yeah, I don't know. Y'all continue on. I'm not getting into the appropriation conversation. I don't see any problem with it. But
I don't say it's appropriation. It's just exploitation.
No, I think it definitely is, but I do think both sides benefited. Like they allowed them in the space because they knew that they were going to get. It's almost like a 6ix9ine situation. Kind of the same situation. Like, you were going to bring this dude, make him a part of the game.
It's a matter of time.
Right. It's only
just a matter of time how long this shit going to last.
Before this shit blows up.
It's a rocky boat to ride.
We still live two, like, vastly different lives.
Yeah, motherfuckers spilling off on each other in another podcast. It's only a matter of time for some shit get off.
Yeah, Adam 22 is wild. He's been wilding for a while, but it's like, I mean, he's not going to be hurting over this situation. I think really No Jumper was like secondary for him at this point. He got the podcast with him and his girl. They be fucking girls together and shit. Like,
I mean, he's one of the wildest people you're going to find, and is willing to do just about anything and everything for attention and views. I think he was like genuinely interested in the weirdo, wild, crazy rappers that he interviewed early on.
Yeah, he was like a SoundCloud
and the interviewer. SoundCloud. That's a good term for it. I think he is interested in that. I think he does rock with the gang culture, the porn. Like, he is just attracted to chaos. I've never had like a high perspective on Adam 22. The stuff he puts out is inevitably entertaining a lot of times.
Yeah.
But like, I've never thought he's a very high character dude that should be like trusted with any kind of, to hold up to like some kind of character that you would respect.
Right.
So none of this is really that surprising to me. But I think it will fuck him up as far as if he doesn't care about doing the music stuff anymore, then he can pivot into whatever he's doing. But if he has any interest in staying in hip hop, doing the music thing, I think this is a big loss for him.
There's no way that, I mean, it's, I'm sure the No Jumper platform has like generated a lot of revenue for him. But at the same time, I couldn't imagine it being bigger than what he's doing in porn and shit. At this, you know,
I don't know. I don't know anything about the business side of that stuff, but like,
porn is the biggest industry in the world.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't comment on that, but I mean, everything he's built is based off of No Jumper. So I can't imagine just wanting to pivot off of that. And I think he's always been able to, I don't think he's like a malicious dude, but he certainly has always toed the line on doing wild stuff. But he's always had enough support from the gangsters and like from other people within the hip hop community that he's able to do it without taking too much backlash. Yeah. And I think losing like
that's a dangerous
5-6 of your top black into hip hop employees will be a big hit for him. And then since then, you've seen like just people making crazy allegations at this point. About
like rape allegations or something.
He's had that in the past before.
Yeah,
just like somebody, I think the thing I saw today was something about like Lil Pump said he was talking to underage girls and stuff. I just think at this point, he had a lot of defense available to him with people that would hold him down. And now he's going to be a little bit naked out there. No pun, since he already does that.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
The AD stuff, though, was interesting, I thought.
What part exactly?
Him more specifically. Because he had, he hosted a debate with Richard Spencer, who's like a white nationalist, one of the most popular current white nationalists.
Yeah.
And I thought that I haven't watched the debate yet. I'm going to, but like he had somebody else who I actually watch a lot of, YouTube dude, Destiny, that was debating him. And like, it wasn't like it was a pro white nationalism kind of thing. Like they had somebody else trying to show him how stupid he looked.
Right.
But AD didn't appreciate him having the platform at all. And he said he didn't like do anything crazy, but he told Adam he was disappointed in that decision, didn't care for it, whatever. So the stuff that I was watching afterwards is that was kind of like the tip of the iceberg at first.
Yeah.
And then he had another employee, I forget what his name is, but this other employee that he was talking to about AD hasn't been doing well on this Tuesday podcast that they do. And he's like, I'm thinking of pulling AD off of the Tuesday podcast. And this other employee told other people about it in their Discord and was telling him everything that Adam was telling him. And then AD found out about that, and he's like, yo, we're best friends. I've been on board with you the whole time, and you're telling other people about what you might do as business decisions about me. And that was kind of like the breaking point.
Yeah. Some snake shit going on.
So I can certainly understand why he would be pissed about that part.
Yeah, it's hard. You know, we've had this conversation with, friends in business and friends in money and shit like that before. It's a difficult relationship to maintain long term. Especially when one of your friends has to be looked at as the boss.
Right.
Your relationship changes. It's just natural, just that dynamic. Most places you go, nobody really likes their boss. Not that much anyway.
Right.
So it's almost like a resentment that you kind of build towards your friend. and I doubt they go like the reason why they're friends, I think, is because of No Jumper. It's not anything outside of that. So I don't think you have anything else to really like pull from, you know, any situations that they've been into prior to that to be like, oh, that's why I still fuck with this motherfucker, regardless of how he, you know what I'm saying? Like, once No Jumper is gone, that's our friendship.
They called him on Joe's podcast recently, and they talked to him, and he was basically kind of like, still like, that's still my dog. If you need me, you can call me. He was still on some shit like, that's still my boy and shit. It's just fucked up how shit was that we had to dip up out of there, but he's still on some shit like he still fuck with Adam. Yes. So he ain't even got no hard feelings like that.
AD is a cool dude like that, though.
Yeah, he is. The last thing I watched was AD's stream, and they had Adam had called into it. They were talking about what had happened. And it was basically like what you're saying. He was just like, from a business standpoint, like, that's just not something that you can do. And we're boys.
Right.
And I think at this point, like, my personal opinion on it is AD has now grown his own name through No Jumper big enough. Right. That he's doing a spinoff podcast.
He can do his own thing.
Him and T-Rel and some of the other dudes that left No Jumper are doing their own thing from this point forward. So, like you said, I mean, I don't think they're going to have beef or anything moving forward. I doubt that it continues to come up, but he lost one of his better employees, from what I can tell.
Yes, indeed.
That's tough.
No, AD was like, it was like 1A, 1B type shit. Like,
he's a funny dude.
He's a cool
dude.
Seems
intelligent. I like him when he's on stuff.
He be on some street shit, but he ain't like, he ain't like over exaggerating stuff. You know, he like a real calm. He'll just kind of lay out the scenario, like, you know, real simple, laid back type shit. He don't get rowdy. Like, I'm gonna fuck this dude up. You know, you ain't never heard AD say no type of shit like that. Real cool, calm, collected dude. But you could tell he probably got, you know, some business in the streets too.
Yeah.
So,
agreed.
I don't know. I feel like it was, I thought out of everybody, like, those two would be the last to fall out just because of AD's like personality. But it looked like, hey, Adam just fucking shit up right now.
He did. He got set up bad.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
When it rains, it pours. But what are we getting to? It's NBA shit?
Was there anything else non-sports, or we get into the sports?
Non-sports, Jussie Smollet.
I was just gonna say, you mentioned
Smollet doc.
Jussie doc.
Apparently, Jussie is not involved with this doc.
Oh, so it'll be good.
Of course.
So it's a doc on. I think they put it on Fox Network app or something like that. On some Fox News Network app or some shit like that. Some type of streaming service that they got over there. They put it on there, and what's been out is this is the clip of the two Nigerian dudes reenacting the whole scenario of a scenario that they was planning out to make it look like they whooped Jussie's ass.
That's from the doc?
That's from the doc.
I'll never see this.
I'll probably never watch it.
That clip was hilarious.
That shit was funny.
It was hilarious, but I can't imagine. I mean, it is. But I mean, like, it was so silly. It was like, yo, this is funny. But I can't imagine watching an actual documentary with that in it.
I like documentaries with like a serious tone.
Yeah, me too.
Like, from what I'm hearing, it's more of a serious doc. That was just like one of the more satire scenes from it. So, of course, that would get people's eyes just to see them reenacting the whole scenario.
They were like, he told us to give him a nuggie and make sure his eye looked black at the end. And they were like, interacting or showing how they did it exactly.
I like how you made it known that he ain't put the noose on his neck. He just laid it on his head. Now, I couldn't take it that far. Putting it on his neck. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. I'm just lay it on you. You put it on your neck yourself. I was like, yeah, what we doing here?
Those boys looking to get some more money.
That shit is wild.
Did they get in trouble?
Nah.
No, they got released.
They snitched.
Ah, okay.
They snitched on Jussie and said it was a hoax. That's how I got blown up.
Why not?
Such a fucking stupid ass plan. Imagine cooking that shit up. Like, bro, you gotta be on cocaine.
Yeah.
It's wild to think
You're
about.
on cocaine if you come up with that.
It's all about the sandwich, bro.
Like, that's not a sober decision.
It's all about the sandwich.
Subway.
Yeah. The sandwich made it back to the apartment, bro.
Subway at 3 a.m.
Yeah. There's no way that sandwich supposed to make it back home if you got beat up.
He made it back home with the sandwich.
Made it back home with the sandwich intact. Nah.
My bread's
he
not
ain't really get beat up. He ain't really get beat up.
Yeah, right.
Well, that sucked, but at least I got this meatball sub.
Yeah, what are we doing? Like, nah.
No, that really, that would have really raised some questions if you just said meatball sub. It's like, niggas don't even eat that. Don't do it.
This one would. This one would.
Oh, it may be.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's ordering.
It probably wasn't me, boss. I wouldn't put it past.
Definitely.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not going to be watching that doc.
That was all the non-sports topics.
Fair enough.
So to speak.
Those are some good topics anyway. What do we got for sports?
So, more drama in the Warriors locker room. But not with the teammates. Just one player. Boy, Andrew Wiggins, he ain't been on the court in a while. Like,
when was the last time he played?
I think it was like
All-Star
early in the
break.
season.
I think they said All-Star. I don't know if he was hurt, but I think they said something about he didn't come back to the team after the All-Star break. Yeah. Is what I had read.
So he's been out. There's been some speculation out there on the internets. So they saying his wife cheated on him with his best friend. And it's a possibility that one, if not two, both of his kids are by his best friend and not him. So he said, fuck basketball right now. Gotta get this life shit in order. Don't know if it's true.
Go ahead.
Don't know if it's true.
I mean, I'm going to rain on this parade. I don't believe this is true at all.
The girl already came out and tweeted, yo, this is disgusting that y'all making up these rumors.
Yeah.
None of this is true. She denounced it, but she's supposed to denounce it. So
He's
I don't know if I
supposed
can
to
fully believe her too.
I think he's supposed to, I would imagine, if that was the case, I would imagine that I don't see how denouncing it right now helps anything at all.
At all.
Something that they interviewed Kerr. No, it wasn't Kerr. Well, they did interview Kerr, and he had said something about we're not getting into it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But there's one of their beat reporters said that one of the players on the team said he had some real shit going on. And I don't know. I could be just as wrong as whoever's making this up. They could be right. But the way they said it, this doesn't sound like, it didn't sound like this is the thing.
Okay.
I feel like there's something wrong. I mean, I'm just throwing out random shit now. I'm just as bad. But I feel like there's something wrong, like a health problem with one of his kids.
Okay.
That would be my best guess. I don't think this is.
I can see that.
It could be.
It's a nasty story.
It's going to come out. I mean, it's going to come out at some point, but I don't buy that.
Or it might not. The truth might not ever come out.
Scott, there's no way.
I don't think he's going to do no fucking sit at the podium and have an interview about this situation and talk about it. I don't think that's going to happen.
He might not want to, but there's nothing stays a secret forever. It's shocking that it hasn't come out now, to be honest with you, or by now. But I don't know. I just personally, I'm just not buying the story. I don't have any thoughts beyond that. But.
Sounds nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I believe the story or not, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. You rarely see, I don't know if it's rarely see, but I feel like there's got to be some truth to something somewhere. It's like, why? Where did this
it's really a specific story, real specific.
I mean, where did this get legs from? That's all I'm saying. It's like, where did this get going? So it might be one of them, what's that game you play? Telephone game? It might, that telephone game where you try to whisper a message in somebody's ear and
see what the message is at the end. It's always
might be
different.
something like that that's going on, and the story might be a little fucked up by the time you get to the end. But I don't know. I mean, if it is the case, that's fucked up, player. But it's just one of them things. Like, hey, you don't be home a lot.
Don't be home a lot.
You don't be home a lot. Any of this shit is a possibility, probably.
Probably had his friend living up in his mansion with him, had his own guest room. You on the road. You in Portland.
Su casa, mi casa.
Portland hooping, getting done up by Dame.
Yeah.
Or your wife getting slammed at the crib. Shit crazy.
That's where we go. I just don't believe anything. I don't believe any media related stuff without proof.
Yes.
And when you don't give them a story,
they're gonna make something up.
Yeah, something is gonna get made up. And we've seen like when it's like in free agency for some sport or something, you see somebody post on Reddit some shit that ends up getting picked up and like totally run with, and then you find out like it was just completely made up. So until there's some kind of proof, I just don't believe it. But it could be the truth. Who knows?
Juicy story, man. Juicy.
Certainly could be.
Man, what would you do if you found out your kids want yours?
I'm not even going to think about it. I'm not like that's how I would handle it, but I'm not even going to think about it. That would be the worst of the worst, particularly if it's a brand new baby. It's different.
4 to 6 year old.
If it's a brand new baby, it's an easier thing to just sever and keep it moving.
But it's never when it's a brand new baby.
Right. It's
always later on when you had a relationship with the kid, right, and all that.
And I can't even imagine what I would do. Because to be honest with you, I don't know if everybody would hold this opinion, but whatever fucked up thing she did, I would feel a certain responsibility to the kids even then. If I've been your dad for 8 years, I'm not just going to bounce. I don't think I'm not in the situation. So hard to say, but I'm not going to just bounce on all of them just because.
It depends on how old the kid is.
Yeah, definitely.
This kid is like a teenager. You've been raising this kid for 7, 8 years.
Well, you're the dad, no problem. I mean, like you don't have no choice.
If the kid is like
you're the dad, they're a teenager.
4, 5, 6.
I think I'd have more of like a 4 and under rule.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
It's like because their memory is not even real.
It's like, once they become a teenager, they might remember you a little bit, but they ain't gonna really remember you.
Bro,
once you become a teenager, shit starts to set in. Like, this person's my dad.
Bro, it's well before then.
Yeah, like 6 and 7, you're gonna remember that dude that left. Even if it's not your fault, like
about 4 years old, you remember everybody
right.
About 4 years old. Anybody that was a huge impact on your life like that, a father, motherfucker.
Yeah, I agree.
You were 6 and 7?
Fuck yeah, you don't remember shit from when you were 6 and 7?
I mean, yeah, but not really.
I don't know anything you ever hear about.
To a certain extent, it ain't like, oh man, this is a major piece missing from my life. And it matters if the actual father ain't involved or not. That matters or not too. If the actual father ain't trying to be involved with the kids' life.
I mean, there's so many factors.
Like, if he not, then it might change your approach. But if he is, then it's even more like, I could just, go and do my thing. His real dad is here now. We know who the real dad is. I can go and make my exit. Get on up out of here.
Man, you should be able to sue a woman for that shit.
Definitely. You may be able to.
There should be a lawsuit. I don't think you actually can.
I was just watching the fucking judge show. I forgot what judge show. One of them black lady judges that showed the other day. Dude, went to trial to try to figure out if his best friend knocked up his girl. Won't his. He thought it was his. Raised the kid up to it was like, I don't know, like 7 or some shit like that. Then find out it wasn't his best friends either. So she don't even know who the fuck it was. She was just out here wilding. That shit was nuts. But
yeah, unfortunately it happens far too often. But man, I think that's why they should really make paternity testing mandatory.
It should be if you're not married, it should be a mandatory thing that you have to have a paternity test.
I mean, shit, fuck it. If you're married too, let's spice it up.
I don't see any harm
in doing
forcing
what's
it
the
to
harm?
Be mandatory. Yeah,
right.
I don't think
what you scared of?
I don't think I'd be against that
because it's a hassle with it not being mandatory.
What do you mean?
Because whenever the dad asks for it, he's always going to look at it in a negative aspect.
Right. No, 100%.
Asking for a paternity test, been through it. Yeah. Personally.
Yeah.
You get looked at as, why the fuck you need a paternity? Or you don't think this, you get all that shit back now. It's like.
And then if,
what you mean?
Say if it's years later and it's found out that you're not the father, but say you've been paying child support for these children. You're not going to get any money back from your child support.
Even deeper than that.
And you might still have to stay on child support. Even deeper than that.
If your name is on the birth certificate, then you have to pay child support regardless.
You'll continue to pay for
There's no way to not pay child support unless you get the mother to remove your name from the birth certificate.
That makes you think, though, it's like, then in that case, child support, paternity testing should be mandatory if you're requesting child support.
Exactly. Because you can put anybody's name on the birth certificate.
Yeah, but they don't care about that because the state gets paid off of how many people they put on child support.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all one big system.
Just write anybody's name up there and they got to pay a child support because their name on it. Yeah. Whether it's true or not.
Yeah, it's like the state gets funded based on that shit. So they I don't give a fuck. Go ahead and send over Tyrone and shit. We'll sign him up.
Send over Tyrone.
So, yeah.
That shit nuts.
It's fucked up for A. Wiggins. Hopefully it's nothing like that, though. But terrible scenario for if he really is going through some shit. I mean, damn. Yeah.
Well, whatever it is, it's terrible, whatever it is, because nobody just takes a leave of absence from an NBA team.
Right, but I'm saying that on top of
unless you flashing guns in your live and shit.
Well, that's not you taking a leave of absence. That's you getting suspended.
Right.
Whatever. No, I agree with what you're saying. If that is the case, then it's hard to imagine much worse than that. But
yeah,
whatever
memes and
whatever
shit
it
you.
is going to be bad regardless.
Yeah. Hey, man, fuck these people, man. That's what,
Speaking of the Warriors, though, they had a game against the Memphis Grizzlies the other night. You know how Klay Thompson and Dillon Brooks kind of got into it a little bit. You know, Dillon Brooks is playing that, you know, Draymond, Marcus Smart, Pat Bev type of role for Memphis or whatever. So he likes to get a little yapping, get a little feisty. And the point that I want to talk about is, I guess they was talking on the sideline. Klay was on the sideline. They was getting beat, but like pretty bad. Like it was getting dominated by Memphis.
Second time in a row.
Yeah, pretty dominated.
A week and a half or so.
A few weeks ago, they asked Klay and Steph about is it a rivalry, and they still like, it's nothing close to it. Like, I get it, but you gotta understand every time y'all play each other, it's a situation. You might not want to admit to calling it a rivalry because they ain't got the rings and the resume that y'all have in this young team, but every time y'all play, this game is going to be on TV because that's some fucking entertaining shit to watch. Everybody know y'all going to go at it. But during that game, they was getting beat. And Klay, you know, he hit up the whole counting out the rings on Dillon again. This is probably like second or third time he done pulled this move against Memphis.
He did the same thing on the Suns, I believe, too.
Yeah. Yep, he does.
Against Booker.
Does do that to Booker. Does a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, how y'all feel about that? You know, I know how I feel about it, but at this point, yeah. But we all know Klay is corny, though.
Corny as fuck.
I've been saying Klay is corny.
how is that corny?
I'll get to it. Corny as fuck. And I'll be honest with you. So I think it was just a couple of weeks back where I was like, the Grizzlies kind of turned into the bad boys, and now they're acting like they don't want to be the bad boys because they kind of complained about it like a month ago.
Right.
All right, I'm back on their side. I'm a Dillon Brooks fan, I think. NBA needs villains. He has fully embraced the villain role. You mentioned some of the other guys. Pat Bev kind of did it too. Yeah. But I feel like some of the other ones that you mentioned, and like some of the guys that we've seen play a little villain role for a time and point in the NBA, they've done the villain thing on the court, but then they'll kind of be like, I don't really know why this is a big thing. I think they're kind of picking on me, and they'll kind of play it down afterwards. I feel like Dillon just embraces 100% right now. I'm the bad guy. Come at me. I fuck with it. I fuck with it. But the Klay thing. The Klay thing is corny because this is what he does every time somebody else is beating him and they get into a little
getting whooped too.
Disagreement.
Like they whooping y'all the last few times they didn't play.
Yeah.
You can't keep throwing up your rings and you getting whooped, bro. Like,
nah.
This ain't ring time. This is you getting whooped. You just got whooped today. You got to eat that shit.
I mean, falling back on the rings is admitting I've lost everything about this battle, and I'm going to hold the one thing that I've got, which is valid. He deserves credit for being a champion. But look, don't get me wrong.
But the issue is that y'all act like he won these rings 10 years ago. They just won last year.
Sure.
Like, yo,
yeah, but
I am the champion.
But it's this year.
But they are currently the champions, though.
Sure.
If you want to talk shit, like that's going to be the end all be all. It's just like you could always say, look at the score. I'm going to say, look at my rings, bitch. I'm a winner, bitch.
Exactly.
You're not a winner.
This is exactly my point.
You're a fucking loser, bitch.
Shit. This is my point.
That's what I would tell you.
When you're losing the game, when you're getting dominated, when you're playing like shit, because he had an awful game last night.
Yeah.
All you can do is fall back to what I've done historically. And look, if I was Klay, that's probably what I would do.
You got to use what you got.
It's human nature that you're going to use whatever you got available. But it's corny as fuck because he keeps taking L's in these little interactions, and he has nothing to say but one,
don't let Memphis put them out the playoffs. Don't let that happen. And then you try to throw up them 4 rings. Then you're going to be even super extra corny.
Like, Klay's been balling, too. He's having a great year.
Yeah, he's been pretty good.
I just think it looks, I think he looks corny.
Fucking Warriors can't win on the road to save their life, though.
They're not that good this year.
At all.
They're not that good this year. I think they're looking at a first round exit. And if they're not, it'll be a second round. They don't have a run in them this year.
Oh, yeah, I think I called that a little bit, but hey, you can't, shit don't last forever.
They won't go repeat?
Yeah, I mean, I can't see him ever winning another title again.
Ever again.
That's tough to say. Really?
Not ever as they're currently constructed. The Warriors, as what we know, Klay, Steph, Draymond, no, I don't see that trio winning another time.
I would agree with that too, because Draymond's out the door. Sure,
Draymond probably gone. I think they'll be fine.
The Steph and Klay combo, I don't think it's.
They need like a new young.
I don't think it's like a hot take to say they won't get a championship because so few teams are going to. But I think with those two guys, I don't think they're like their run is over kind of thing.
Because the West is still pretty much wide open.
That is.
The West is still pretty much wide open for the most part. Like all theirs.
I would be happy to be wrong.
Records are pretty close together.
Yeah, I know.
I'll be happy to be wrong. Steph Curry's my favorite player. One of my favorite players I ever watched. So, sure, I would love to watch him win a ring. But just looking at it realistically, they're both like mid-30s at this point. It's just not likely.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that.
But I mean, I don't feel any kind of way about Dillon Brooks. Like I said, I feel like every team needs that role, that guy on your team to be the agitator.
I agree.
As long as you're productive with that as well too, you ain't just like I don't like Pat Bev being that guy because I don't really look at him as a productive player.
But I think he does exactly what he needs to.
Yeah,
he doesn't have the talent. We've talked about him before. He doesn't have the talent to bring much more than what he gives.
But I'm saying that
his role is to do what he's supposed to do.
For sure. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like if that's gonna be the guy on your team, you got to bring something else to it. Like you talking all this shit, but back it up sometimes. I don't think Pat Bev is really.
That's my issue with Dillon Brooks because I don't even think he's that good.
He's a decent player though.
I don't think he's that good, but he talks a lot like he that, and it kind of like don't like translate. Like, of course, the like aggravating shit might work, but can you put those? You still a guard. You a shooting guard on this team. Like, can you put up some buckets? Can you do some? I don't think he's that even a good defensive player.
Oh, that's not true. He's a good defender, regardless of what he gets for buckets wise. He's a good defender, and I mean, we can all have different opinions on this, but I think he's doing exactly his job because after every single game, the Warriors are talking about him. They're not talking about anybody else. Dre is talking about him. Klay is talking about him. He is in their head, under their skin, maybe not to the point where they're like, can't perform. They didn't that last game. I think they'll have, they may beat them in a series. I don't know. But I think he does his job and does it well. I just like how he embraces it.
Yeah, I mean, and he's not.
It'll get old in a couple of years.
He's not going to give you 30 points, but he can give you a 20 piece. I mean, he's good for that. Good enough.
Very seldom.
I mean, yeah, he's going to be somewhere in that range pretty much nightly. He's a decent player, man. I think, but I like that. I think you got to have somebody on your team with that mentality. Like I said, the enforcer role or agitator. It's a part of the game. Knock somebody off theirs, Yeah,
I think so. But
got ways to go. Got to step up his game a little bit to me.
Fair enough.
Y'all need a Dillon Brooks.
We got one. Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
Defensive player of the year last year.
Oh, yeah, I guess he is. He would be that guy.
It's levels.
Plus, even if he wasn't.
Dillon Brooks is not on that level. To me.
I got the
same type of things.
I got to find the numbers.
But he's not.
I would say they're probably similar players.
I think so.
You got to look at numbers. Defensive player of the year, a guard, which doesn't happen.
Yeah, true.
As a guard, defensive player of the year.
No doubt.
So it's just, I'll see him getting that. You got to do a lot more before you get that in that conversation. In that conversation.
I'm just saying, he was getting roasted in them finals, boy.
Sure.
Spin cycle.
Don't do that, bro.
I'll have to find it, but I'll have to look later. You say he's not quite that level, but they definitely have that guy, I would say.
All right, yeah, I agree.
Wasn't there other NBA thing that you had?
Well, the Josh suspension happened last week, like officially. Supposedly, they gave him like a little time served. They gave him an 8-game suspension and time served since he had already missed 6. So he just needed 2 more. I think he's supposed to play tonight. If I ain't tripping. That's what I heard. I guess we'll see. Let me look at the list. They got him listed.
Do you think the suspension actually
changed?
Still
got him out, so I guess it's longer.
I saw something about because he had been out for a week, they wanted to like ramp him up into basketball activity.
Okay, so he
still it sounds kind of crazy. He was gone for 8 days or something. It wasn't that crazy, or it wasn't that long. But do you think the suspension actually changes any of the stuff he was getting involved in? Do you think he actually wakes up from this, or he was just doing what he had to get back, and he'll have another, maybe not a gun incident, but like he had 5 incidents this year of people saying that he was like in altercations. Do you think that continues?
I think he'll chill out.
I think so too.
I think we'll see a chill Ja from here on out. I think he might have learned his lesson before, like the real huge lesson was learned to him.
I think
because it could have got to something worse. They could have had me. I think just kind of like brought him home and make him understand that probably got to chill out doing the shit you've been doing. So I think it'll be all right. I don't see him acting out again.
I mean, I don't know what he'll do in the future, but only thing I think I do disagree with the part of him getting suspended for. I don't think he really did anything to be suspended for.
Misconduct.
As a representative of the league, I mean, I can see why they would want to suspend him. He maybe didn't break like a certain rule in the rule book that says don't have a gun on Instagram or something, but the negative publicity he brought to the league, I'm not shocked by that.
Yeah, it falls under the misconduct.
Yeah, I mean, does that really fall under misconduct?
Yeah,
like
flashing your gun on IG Live would probably fall under that for me.
Yeah, if that doesn't.
As a star player in the faces of our league.
I don't agree with what he did necessarily, but it's nothing illegal about what he did. It's not necessarily like.
It ain't got nothing to do with illegal. He's an employee.
Yeah, but he's not on that clock 24/7 either. I mean,
you still represent the league, whether you're on the court or not.
It's also freedom of, like, you have constitutional rights as well outside of your job. That is a constitutional right to bear arms. It's also a constitutional right to act as the media.
You can work a regular job, and if their job finds out that you're doing some wild shit, they can fire you.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you not be in the NBA and not be a fucking celebrity and get fired from a job.
Have that company represented also on that same page. So, yeah, if he says that he's part of the NBA, like if there's in his, but it probably is on his bio or whatever, saying that he's an NBA player or part of the Memphis Grizzlies. But if he took that out, then he wouldn't be responsible for any, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause then I'm not affiliated with
I don't think it
company.
Works like that. I don't think you can like say, yo, I'm not an NBA player.
I'm saying that's how it works with your company. If you posted something on your Instagram, it could be whatever you wanted. Your company can't be like, oh, I seen this posted on your Instagram, we're going to fire you. They have no affiliate, as long as you don't have any affiliation with that company on your Instagram, then they can't.
I don't think it's affiliated. If you do something at work or have something affiliated with work, it probably has something to do with it. Cause you're not like a celebrity that people are just gonna know you.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I think he wouldn't want to fight this battle because he don't have any room to stand on. But I feel like there's room there for him to fight it if he were to have a stance and say, like, I really didn't do anything illegal or wrong.
It'd be an unnecessary fight.
Do you have the same thoughts on the NFL when they suspend players in general for getting into?
They suspend players for beating bitches up. That's like different.
But it's not.
You beat a woman, dog. So it's like, yeah, you gotta take your time.
It's not different in that they've handed out suspensions on cases that have been dropped and not pursued because there wasn't evidence or somebody that didn't prosecute legal trouble. Or something.
That's like
right. He has those level as well. There's a kid suing him for allegedly pulling a gun and beating him up on the basketball court in some pickup game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that stuff just tied into it, but I'm talking about all of this is stemming off of the Instagram thing. So maybe that was the last straw.
Yeah, I think it's the resume.
I don't think I think it is. I mean, I think it's the fact that there were so many things. I'm against the NFL doing what they do. I don't think if there's just because there's an allegation of some sort of criminal misconduct, if there's no trial or you're found not guilty and they still have the ability to suspend you for conduct detrimental to the league, I think that's bullshit. We've talked about that in some of the cases that have come up, but I just didn't know if you had that same, or you think the NFL is okay to do that, even if it's just an allegation.
I mean, I think it depends on what the allegation is, of course. I mean, that makes it more serious and changes things depending on what somebody's accused of. So there's some nuance to that, but I don't know. I just think for what Ja did in his situation is like so small. Like,
it's the tip of the iceberg.
I don't see anything criminal.
It was a build up.
That's all I'm saying.
If that was the first thing, I would be agreeing with you. But the fact this is like the third or fourth thing in the last year, That's why it's that serious. If it was the first, they'd probably be like, all right, just chill out.
Young dude with a lot of money, but they ain't jumped nobody or nothing. He ain't Alvin Kamara nobody yet.
Not yet.
Thing. So
they've got they have like 3 or 4 of those allegations still ongoing right now.
They ain't on camera. So until they're on camera, then it's not a problem. That's all I'm saying. It's like stuff. I just can't see why we're taking it to this height yet, unless it's just like, oh well, we really want to send this dude a wake up call.
Hey, I think they needed to. I think this is going to be a wake up call. I could be wrong. He could be in trouble next month, but the fact that I think the connection with Jalen Rose was a big thing in my opinion of it.
That was some bullshit to me.
What?
Just the whole interview thing.
Well, that was definitely PR, but I'm just saying the fact that Jalen Rose spoke up for him and said that he was in similar incidents and they obviously connected after that.
Right.
I think I see that as like him at least listening to somebody. It could be all BS. I mean, that could be true.
He
that
fucking
he's
lucky
just doing whatever he needs to do.
That investigation on if he had that gun on the plane and when they were traveling with the team, that shit fell through because he could have got 50 games.
Yeah.
Like that's an actual rule. Like to have a fucking firearm on the NBA premises, on your team's premises and on the team plane, like he would have got 50 games automatically. Well, so he lucky that shit they ain't find out nothing from that.
And I think that's part of why the 8-game suspension or whatever it was came out. I think they may not be able to prove it like 100%, like you had this on the plane, but it seemed like they kind of just said, we'll drop that. You take the suspension. Because the NBA doesn't want to suspend him for 50 games either.
Of course.
Right, it's the last thing they want to do.
He is becoming the face of the league kind of thing. Like they want to protect that as well. I think it was kind of compromised to go 8 games and keep it moving.
Mm-hmm. A little slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
We'll see what happens. I think that's all the NBA stuff that we got though.
Yeah.
So look, man, I know y'all ain't trying to watch. Y'all apparently aren't trying to watch college basketball. I haven't been a college basketball fan throughout the year this year.
Me either.
Not super interested, but it's March Madness.
It is.
Y'all are sports fans.
Yeah.
What is the deal? No love for March Madness is just cool.
Well, he only watches it because his boys was normally in it.
I mean, my boys ain't in it, but I don't necessarily follow NCAA basketball that heavy throughout the year. And this year I kind of been locked in on the NBA. Like shit been pretty entertaining for me recently. So I ain't been paying attention. But I'm like, like I said in the chat, I'm like word when it comes to NCAA. I think I'm coming in at crunch time, Elite 8, Sweet 16 time. That's when the shit start heating up. You know what I'm saying?
Next weekend,
I'll watch some of the games, but honestly, when it comes to basketball in general, I'm just not a fan of teams.
Basketball, period.
Not really a basketball fan.
No, I mean I love the game of basketball, but I'm more of a fan of players, so it has to be a player that I gravitate to in order for me to really say I'm gonna watch the tournament.
Well, so you slacking this year. You ain't find you a young stallion to follow.
Hood too old in college.
That shit crazy.
Is that it? The kids are too old in college for you to watch?
No, that is completely false.
You got to get them in high school. Tell us about
you was on Chet last year.
Tell us about Bronny.
Your boy Chet.
No update on Bronny.
What are the other high school phenoms that we should
I haven't seen any recently.
Oh man, you're slipping.
Well, I'm just saying, I have to. It has to be like that college star for me to really watch any collegiate sports. Honestly, it has to be a Zion level, Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey level type player for me to tune in on.
Only one of them played basketball.
Yeah.
Who else you got besides Zion that you paid attention to in college basketball?
Huh?
Yeah, you know Chet.
I watched some Chet.
He gave you one. Who else you got?
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a lot of
attention to college basketball.
What's it?
You don't pay no damn attention to college basketball. But y'all are ruining this for me because we should be able to talk about the college tournament because it's fucking awesome. But it's whatever. I'll just talk for a minute.
What takes you got on it?
I mean, there was the obvious upsets are big news. The first the first day of the tournament on Thursday, UVA, the chronic underachiever. Now they won a championship after they lost as a 16 seed. The next year they won the championship, so you got to give them a little bit of props. But they seem like a team that just always loses games that they're not supposed to in the tournament. Mm-hmm. They were a 3 seed, I think, playing a 14, and they lost to Furman, I think it was.
I think it was, yeah.
Don't even know. Don't even care. They throw the ball inbound, down or up 1 or 2.
I think it was up 1.
Up 1 with like 7 seconds left. Throw the ball into the corner, and their point guard decides to throw the craziest Hail Mary pass I've ever seen on a basketball.
Why would you do that?
That shit was nuts.
They had a timeout in their back pocket. He doesn't call it. Thinks he can just throw the ball to the other side of the court, and time's going to run out. Is the best explanation I got. Dude intercepts it. Passes it up, one long pass up the court. Dude drains the 3, and they lose. That was like the second game of the tournament, so immediately they had the first upset. That one was crazy. Yeah. Later that night, Arizona was a 2 seed. They lost to Princeton, which was wildly shocking. Princeton, Ivy League school. They don't got nobody out there that looks like they can play basketball at all.
Took a mean there.
Knocked Arizona out. Second day of the tournament on Friday, Purdue was like, they were a 1 seed, and they were one of the teams throughout the year. They had the number 1 ranking at certain points in time. They got some 7'4" dude, Edey, that gets buckets. He's pretty good, college kid. I don't think he's going to be an NBA guy. Not like that. But they lose to a 16 seed, Fairleigh Dickinson. Never even heard of this school in my life.
Me.
They didn't win their tournament. They made the championship of their own conference tournament, and the team that won it is transitioning from Division II to Division I, so they're not eligible for the tournament.
What?
So this team got to go.
Be there.
Literally not supposed to. Basically a 17 seed, and they knocked off Purdue. So that was the second number 1 seed to ever lose. Obviously,
that's the guy with the coach that's been going around and saying like, the more I watch Purdue, the more I think we can beat them.
They had him pregame saying that, and he was like, he kind of apologized for it. I think like at halftime, or said he wished he didn't say that, or wished that it wasn't on camera or something. And then they ended up winning, and they ended up losing yesterday, but they were playing their ass off. They were fun to watch. Anytime a team is that big of a Cinderella, it's just kind of cool to watch them.
Yeah, it's been crazy, the madness, man.
Yeah,
everybody's brackets was busted.
Of course,
early,
always
early.
I mean, there's some big upsets or whatever, but Princeton, after winning that Arizona game, they played Missouri, and Missouri was like a 5 seed or something. They weren't like a top team, but they're pretty good. They beat Missouri by like 18. They beat the shit out of them.
Sheesh.
So they're moving on to the Sweet 16 as a 15 seed. That was kind of fun to watch, except I had a bunch of parlays with Missouri involved. Lost everything. But if y'all haven't watched, there's really not a lot of point in talking about individual games. There's 2 kids, though. Kansas State played Kentucky yesterday. Their point guard.
That one of my parlays.
Yeah. They were a pretty shocking win.
Yeah.
But their point guard is 5'8". This dude is so fucking fast it doesn't make sense.
He's moving.
He's pulling threes like from deep, Curry-esque type shit. But he's like he might be the best passer I've seen in college like in years. Like pure point guard, seeing shit that nobody else sees, making like playground passes. He had a fast break where he's like out towards the 3-point line and whips one behind the back to dude cutting right down the middle for an easy dunk. He had a alley-oop, look away, looked like he's making the pass out here to the 3-point guy and just kind of tossed it up like this. Dude is a nasty passer. I think he's from Harlem, and they're going to the Garden for the next round.
That makes sense.
So
straight from the Rucker, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
He getting busy.
Kansas State is going to be a big favorite. Not a big favorite. They'll be an underdog, but they're going to be getting mad love in New York next week.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be kind of fun to watch.
Yeah. I'm going to start tapping
in. Do you think he can play in the NBA, though?
I do. I was telling somebody else about this. So he apparently is, now this is a big knock against him, but he's really tight with Kyrie. He searched out Kyrie, kind of was like asking him for help. What do I need to do? Obviously, Kyrie's not as small as him, but he's like undersized. What can I do? They became friends or whatever. But I think I don't see him being like a star NBA guy.
Of course not. Can't be.
But like, he is an absolute contributor. The way he passes is like Jason Kidd type shit. I was really impressed with his passing, and he can shoot from deep, and he's dumb fast. I think there's a role for him in the NBA, but I mean,
probably coming off the bench.
Yeah, for sure. I would imagine he's a bench guy. But he's somebody to watch out for. Marquise Noel. Dude is nasty.
Okay.
And there's one other kid that had a really cool story. Also happens to be same team, Kansas State. Keontae Johnson. Do y'all remember, it was like 2 years ago, maybe even 3, there was this kid on Florida that just collapsed on the court with a heart problem? That's him. He was in a coma for 3 days after that happened. And then because he was considered to be a potential first-round pick, there's an NCAA insurance rule thing that they have in place.
You could have got $5 million.
Could have took a $5 million payout, but he would have to forego the rest of his college career, and he couldn't pursue an NBA career.
That's so fucked up. It's like,
I don't understand
I almost
exactly
died
why.
on the floor, and it's like, y'all actually probably do owe me some money for that shit regardless.
Why?
And then you're trying to say I can't pursue a career after that?
I'm like, giving him $5 million.
It's a lot of money.
I don't understand how the NBA part would tie in. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
like,
know the guy. I don't understand like the legalities behind that. But they're offering him $5 million for what could just be a 1 in a million chance that he has a heart condition. I don't think that's that terrible of a deal they're offering. But anyway, turns it down.
Pretty fucked up.
Turns it down. Sat out basically the past 2 seasons. And he came back now. He's at Kansas State, and I think he's averaging 18 and 7. Like, he's a legitimate NBA prospect, I believe, again now.
Well, he's old though, right?
Yeah, he's got a couple extra years from sitting out. So, I mean, he may still be 22 or 23.
I think he's older than that.
Could be.
What's his name?
Keontae Johnson.
I don't know. I think it's like 25. Maybe. I don't know.
I'm kind of curious because he did miss multiple seasons. It is possible. 22.
Okay, not bad.
So I mean, he's basically a 4-year senior.
That's a draftable player.
Yeah. It's just we're not used to that anymore.
That's a draftable player. No worries there.
But I'd definitely be cheering for him.
And what school does he play for?
Kansas State. Both of those guys I was just talking about played over there.
I think it's another dude from Memphis or something like that that's old. He's like 26 years old or something like that.
Yes. It might be Memphis. I can't remember, but I remember watching one of the games and they said something about the 26-year-old coming to the free throw line. I was like, good God, what did he do? I didn't hear the reason behind it.
I was like, good boy. Can't let it go.
I don't know why his name, Chris Winkie?
Yeah, he was 29.
He's old as shit.
He went like military or something before. I think that was what held him up.
Don't you think you would feel weird out on the floor, like
you got to.
Knowing that you
a little bit
like 7 years older than everybody else out here? I guess it really don't matter when you play basketball.
I don't think on the court.
I swat a 15-year-old shit. I pack that shit right now. You know what I'm saying? And feel no remorse about it.
It would be more weird, like in practice or hanging out with the team and stuff because you're mad older than
right. You got a wife and shit.
Once you're on the court, it's like who cares? Right. I'm on the court. Let's ball.
Yeah, you kind of all men when you get on the court, regardless of age. Like that's kind of how I look at it.
But y'all should tune in this week. This week is down to, now they're at Sweet 16. So we're getting down a little bit more to it.
I'll start checking it out.
Bama is still the best team in the country. And now a couple of the other better teams like Kansas got knocked out. Stuff like that their road is looking even stronger. So I expect they're going to win it all.
I like Creighton. I like Creighton and Houston still. Creighton's nice.
Creighton beat the shit out of Baylor. That was kind of surprising. Houston's the other 1 seed that's left. So, I mean, they're good too. For sure.
Yeah. Good shit.
But I won't take up too much more time. I had a couple of things.
Nice.
We got there. Check out that point guard, though. This dude is nasty.
Sounds like a baller.
My favorite player in the tournament.
Sounds like a baller.
I love players who love to pass.
He had, in the first round game, he had 17 points, 14 assists. And in the second game, they just couldn't stop him, and they needed him to hit every shot. I think he went for 28 and 8 against Kentucky. Kentucky's a bit. I think they said Kentucky's the biggest team in the tournament.
They just choose not to pass, but it's like he got like this crazy court vision, you know. Yeah. Like I've always felt that way about Kobe and shit. Like if you really wanted Kobe to be your point guard, this motherfucker could rack up 15 assists. Yeah. Like his court vision was crazy. It's just that that won't Kobe's mentality.
It's not his role.
Yeah.
And it's not what they needed.
Yeah, right. Same with Curry type shit. Like, this motherfucker could be a crazy dumb passer if he wanted to, but he gonna rain buckets on you.
Right.
So
now when I can do this.
Yeah, right. I mean, I like that. This shows like the depth of a player's game and stuff like that. So
Agree.
True indeed.
Some NFL news? Couple of moves?
What's some moves? Oh, we got Juju.
You're not happy about this.
I mean, y'all know how I've always felt about Juju. I don't think he's in a position where he can hold down being a number one receiver for a team. And at this point, he would be our number one receiver.
But I got to ask the question of the past however many years you want to go back. Who's a better receiver that you've had than Juju, you think?
Probably hasn't been that many. But to me, I think he still going to do the same shit that Jacoby Myers did for us.
He's just a better player.
He ain't going to throw at the Raiders.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Shout out to him. He's actually with the Raiders now.
Crazy. He got that.
He's with the Raiders.
That was a handshake deal.
Yeah. You give us this
the
game.
funny thing is, you notice they got the exact same deals.
Oh, did they?
Oh, yeah.
It's 3 years, $33 million.
I didn't notice that.
They both have the exact same deal. So the Patriots just like, we're not gonna pay you this much. We'll literally pay a stranger that we don't know at all the same amount.
A stranger.
That your ass
This guy, like,
he's a stranger.
This is a hard thing
They don't
to
know
say,
this
though.
motherfucker.
Why does he got to be a stranger? He's just a fucking player.
They'll rather pay this stranger than pay you the exact same amount that you're requesting or asking for.
Yeah. So I'm not too excited about it. Not a huge fan of Juju. I think he'll be productive. He'll be a good receiver for us. And we're still on the table of trying to get D-Hop. So if we get D-Hop instead of go off from Juju, I'm liking that a lot more.
Yeah,
now.
of course.
I'm liking that a whole lot more.
I'm telling
now.
you, bro. Juju's gonna be a fan favorite, I think, with y'all. Like,
I think so.
Everybody loves
sure,
this
he
dude
does all the things
if he's
he
on your
does.
side, but people just forget, like, I mean, not even, but Juju's just a tough motherfucker, though, man. Like, and you see, like, A.J. Brown popping shit with Juju, like, I'm gonna see you. I don't think he really want that smoke. Like, A.J. Brown seems like a real, like, and you think Juju's like this.
That?
Huh?
He don't want that. What do you mean? I don't understand.
They
ain't gonna line up against each other.
No, I'm talking about like he talking about beating Juju up when he see him type shit. I think Juju would give that boy the beats like on some real like Juju a different level of switch. Like he's a happy-go-lucky dude, but when you put him on the football field, he will knock your fucking teeth out. We talk about the dude who pretty much lights out Vontaze Burfict. We don't see receivers doing that shit in today's era. We just don't. He got like a different level of, I want to fuck you up.
A football hit and going hands up is two totally different things.
It's the same mentality. If you like contact, you like contact.
It might be the same mentality, but it's two totally different types of contact.
Yeah, I mean, you can throw it. But if you like contact, there's some people that feed off of contact, motherfucker. You hit me, that shit gives me more energy.
I put my money on AJ Brown. This motherfucker's huge.
Yeah, I mean that would be my. I don't know
Juju
this. I don't know this about Juju. I'm not saying it's not true, but I never knew anything like that. I just would take Brown just because it's such a big.
I ain't
deal,
never looked at him as that aggressive
Juju's
guy.
big though. Like Juju's not an undersized. He's probably about the same size, if not a little bit bigger.
I didn't know that.
Than him. And Juju got recruited to play safety out of college. This motherfucker's a hitter. You get what I'm saying? Juju trying to hit somebody, knock somebody's lights out, dog. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, that's the kind of mentality he bring to the wide receiver position. That's why I fuck with Juju on another level like that.
I'd have been excited.
A little bigger in weight. They're the same height, though.
I didn't know that. I did not know that at all.
I thought AJ was a little taller, but they're the same height.
I was surprised you weren't excited. I mean, I kind of get what you're saying is like, I wouldn't be thrilled. I don't know about him being the number one guy neither, but I kind of look at y'all's receivers similar to what we're looking at now without DJ Moore, where Juju was the guy I wanted of the guys that were available. There's not that many great receivers available this year for free agency.
Right.
So I thought you'd have been a little bit more excited. But
Could be a good pickup.
What were the other moves?
We'll see how it goes. We talk about Jalen Gilly. Stephon Gilmore to the fucking Cowboys.
Yeah, that's gross.
Cowboys made a couple pickups, right? They got Brandon Cooks recently.
Yes, Cooks too. Yeah, that just happened. I forgot.
That got to be the most traded wide receiver in NFL history.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
It's almost to the point to where like you didn't even know he was still playing, like slightly, but he's still a productive player, right?
Everywhere he goes.
I never know where he is.
Everywhere he goes, he's productive though.
Yeah, that's
everywhere he's been.
Probably a good move. It's just
and he's a fucking like Super Bowl champion, and right? Or did he make it to the Super Bowl?
He ain't win the Super Bowl.
I don't know.
Did he make it to the Super Bowl with the Rams?
The Rams.
I don't know.
He's been on so many teams, right?
Yeah, it's really hard to keep track for real.
It's either with all of the Rams or something he played in the Super Bowl with. I don't know. I can't remember. I feel like it's got to be like, what, his fifth or sixth team or something?
At least.
Seems like he gets traded once a season, like before the season starts. So, it's another Brandon Cooks training. So he just packs his bags up and shit.
Yeah, where are we going next?
Right, or doesn't unpack it all.
Seems like a good move.
Yeah, both solid moves for the Cowboys. I feel like, Jerry Jones does what he does. He's going to put together a good roster.
Oh, he played in one with us and the Rams.
He's played in 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, just hasn't won one. Hold on. Did he win that one?
Did he lose to the Eagles with y'all and lost to y'all with the Rams?
I think so.
Damn, that's tough.
Possibly, yeah. I remember him in a couple Super Bowls though. I'm like, he's a good player. It's just crazy he's been passed around like that.
I know, right?
Because when he came into the league, he was looked at as one of the better, or at least by year 2, he was looked at one of the better wide receivers in the league. At least of what he did as far as deep threats and stuff like that. But man, this dude's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 yard seasons in his, what is that?
Stay solid.
9-year career. That's pretty good.
Hell yeah. Hopefully he sucks next year though. All due respect.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind that either. Dak can't get the ball that far.
Still not official yet, but still Aaron Rodgers coming to the fucking AFCs.
This is the weirdest thing I ever seen.
Still not official though.
I can't imagine.
He's announced that he's going there, but he's not there yet.
I've never seen that happen before.
It's odd.
And I've never seen a team seem so obviously to be going to get the receivers that he wants while he's not a part of the team.
Almost all of them. I think the last one they got to get is Odell was on his list.
They signed Randall Cobb too?
Yeah.
They did sign Randall Cobb?
Yeah. But who is the other one?
Mercedes Lewis
and Alan Lazard.
The Expendables.
He put out a list. I did see something else that was kind of funny. That Rodgers was so mad with the Packers for all these years for never giving him any receivers, and then he wants the Jets to go get all of the guys that he had.
That's the part that don't make no sense. It's like you was trying to get away from this situation to go with better receivers, and now you bringing all of them with you. I get it. Weird. They probably his guys. We know his relationship with Randall Cobb and fucking probably with Alan Lazard as well, but it's just like...
Lazard is nice. He may not be like receiver 1 like they would have wanted in Green Bay, but he's nice. That makes sense.
He's pretty good. Going to sign Donald Driver. They're going to sign Donald Driver. That's what.
No, he's not getting Jennings. They hate each other, right?
At the same time, it's terrible, dog.
It's so weird.
We're fucking going through.
Oh yeah, because they're coming to your division.
Going through it. Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, and fucking Tua.
Yeah, that's.
How does it feel to have the 4th best quarterback?
That's
in
daunting.
the division?
I mean, hey, it happens. I mean, you should understand. You're in the same position.
No, not at all.
So it is what it is.
Completely different.
In the same position.
At least 3rd. Right now, it might be 2nd. Looking at the Ravens situation.
Here we go.
The Ravens. Oh, got you.
If they throw Huntley out there again, we definitely got the 2nd best quarterback in the division.
It's all good. The tables turned a little bit. I mean, hey, you have a 20-year run. You can't have it forever. We're here now.
True.
We're here now.
It's impressive that you understand that.
We might make a push for Lamar. I've heard that.
I have seen. I've seen every team linked to Lamar in one story or another. I still swear he's
we get Lamar and D-Hop. We back. We back.
Unfortunately, I would have to become somewhat of a Patriots fan.
We back, baby.
It would be unfortunate, but I would then
Lamar D.
root for him to win.
That would be quite the twist. That would be quite the twist.
So crazy. Not an actual.
That would be crazy with that defense we already got. Oh my God, it'd be a problem.
That would be fun.
Be mid.
But I ain't get my hopes up on Lamar shit. I do think we can get D-Hop, but I ain't get my hopes up on Lamar.
Yeah,
one.
That's too many trades.
That would be a lot.
That you would have to,
That's true.
Go through for that.
Just give me D-Hop. We can make it work with Mac.
Bill ain't trying to give up no picks.
Of course not.
Always trying to rack them up. I'm excited.
They only asked for a 2nd rounder for D-Hop though.
Oh yeah, you can probably get him for cheap.
And another piece. So that's not that steep.
It's doable.
It's not that steep at all.
What moves have y'all made? I've seen a couple things out there.
Signed Hayden Hurst, Adam Thielen.
So I got Adam Thielen
and Miles Sanders.
Oh yeah, Miles Sanders.
Miles
That was a big
Sanders.
pickup.
I really wanted Foreman back, so I wouldn't say I was disappointed with Sanders because he's probably the best of the three that we picked up.
Different run style.
But I really wanted Foreman, and they said after they signed Sanders that they were still in on Foreman, but
Gotta have that 1-2 punch.
he wanted to get paid, and he didn't get a crazy contract. I think he got $3 million a year or something. But he's never had a big payday. I was looking at all of his contracts throughout his year. I mean, this was his first real big breakout. But
Who, Miles Sanders?
No, Deontay Foreman.
Okay.
I think
I can
Miles
see that.
Sanders. This is his first free agency.
Probably so. I'm
Okay.
excited about him.
Think he got
Stay
paid.
healthy, and that'll be cool. But I just like seeing they're adding some pieces. I'm not expecting they're going to be like the best offense in the league by any means, but get some guys that are reasonable and can make plays to give to the new quarterback and hopefully still take a receiver second round. I'll be pretty excited.
Yeah, making some proper moves. Shit is lining up how it's supposed to be.
I like it.
Just gotta see how it all comes together.
I'm gonna tell you this. I know I'm normally pretty high on the Steelers, right? But
Yeah.
I think last year I wasn't as high on them.
It's been real quiet for y'all this offseason.
But nah, bro. I think that they're building a Titan. They're building a picket fence as we speak right now.
God, here we go with the
The
fucking.
picket fence is going to be a thing next year.
Probably. That's a good name.
It's going to be a thing.
That's a good name.
Yeah, it's going to be a thing.
I respect that.
They've dumped some money into the offensive. Like the last 2 seasons without the quarterback being on the books is the most I've seen the Steelers spend in free agency. Last year we got one of the top guards, James Daniels. This year we got the top guard in free agency from the Eagles. Siamalu is his name. So,
I just saw that.
and then they picked up another offensive guard as well too. So they're really focusing on the trenches. And I mean, I like to see it, man.
You set this up as if you were not thinking they're going to be good, and now you're telling us about the good moves that
He
they
really
made.
flipped it on us just now.
What is it? I
noticed
Oh
that.
no,
Which side do you fall on?
I'm saying that they're gonna. I think the Steelers gonna win about 12 games next year.
So this is nothing different. What was that setup? This is what you
setup
say
was-
every fucking year.
It was bullshit.
I didn't feel like that last year.
That was
bullshit.
I didn't know what to expect.
You sat here and tried to tell us that your boy was going to be good at quarterback, Mitch.
Yeah, he was
you were a
awful.
big believer in Mitch and all that. You always say 12 wins. This is stupid. I thought you were telling
Yeah,
us.
No, I said
Every
like
year
10.
now.
I said 10 last year.
Why you set it up
And
like that? That's the
was
real
stupid.
issue. You set it up like, I know I'm usually high on them. Like you was going to say something opposite.
Well, no, I'm saying like
I'm still
this
high on
year
them.
it's like I don't know, bro. It's gonna be something different.
It's me again.
They spending some money, dog. And look, if Pickett can make that jump, it's gonna be scary. Because all right, look, this is how I liken it. I really see it as the Eagles, or the Jalen Hurts making that jump from year 2 to year 3. I really feel like Kenny Pickett is a similar player. I think he could be a little bit better as a passer, but a similar player to Jalen Hurts as far as like mentality and leadership and stuff like that. And the guy,
No. I ain't never heard him drop no bars like Jalen though. Jalen got bars.
don't worry about it. You ain't never heard
He
nothing.
got fucking bars.
But the Steelers' new assistant GM, you know, Kevin Colbert held down the job for 20 years. He's a Hall of Fame GM. He's drafted countless Hall of Famers. But the new assistant GM that we have, it was the Eagles' former vice president of operations. So he pretty much built that entire Eagles team. The 2 offensive linemen that we signed are from the Eagles. He's got like,
So y'all do what y'all always do. Just try to bite other people's success and put it in y'all shit.
what I'm saying is that we're gonna build a team like the Eagles, but it's gonna be better because the Eagles never had a Minka Fitzpatrick or a
Y'all
TJ
tried this
Watt.
before when y'all tried to build like the Patriots and shit ain't paying out for y'all.
We never tried to build like the Patriots. We
It's a lie.
have plenty, much more Hall of Famers
It's a
on our
lie.
roster
It's a lie.
throughout the year.
You're setting yourself up for the ring claim.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Klay
Do your
Thompson
corny
ring
thing. Do your corny thing. Go
Nothing
ahead. Do your corny thing.
You ain't got to say it when you already know. Ain't got to be said.
We got more Hall of Famers
You
though.
got to say it. Fucking Hall of Famers. You got it.
We do.
You got it.
Well, good. I'm glad you're excited. Very big change up from your usual 12-game prediction. I appreciate you
12 games,
setting us up for nothing there.
Remember, I coined this: the picket fence
I assume that you've already heard that elsewhere, and you're just pitching it to us like it was your idea. No new ideas are there are no new ideas. There's no innovative nothing.
Nothing's changed.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm thinking some new names to call yourselves like every year. Like we get it. Like
I coined it, bro. The picket fence.
Shit is trash.
The picket thrower.
Shit
That's
is
what
trash.
it's gonna be. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We're pretty much
You're gonna be jealous.
running out of time here.
Both y'all gonna be jealous next year.
Never be jealous.
Why can't that be my quarterback? Why can't my quarterback do stuff like that?
I'm about to get a better quarterback. He might be jealous. But I'm about to get my
He's
quarterback.
definitely gonna be jealous.
I'm about to have my quarterback.
Juju gonna be making TikToks. They gonna be losing. He gonna be pissed off. He like this motherfucker.
If the Steelers do end up being good and y'all have a tough year, it is going to be hard to come in here because you know Juju is going to piss you off once they're not doing well and he's being Juju. It's going to be a rough scene.
I'm trying not to pay attention to it. I don't want to see that Juju shit.
Just don't watch.
I don't think Bill gonna have that shit anyway. You're gonna be celebrating after losses and shit. What the fuck is you doing, Juju?
You can't stop him from using TikTok.
You got to face Bill the next day, though. I think it's a little bit different.
Bill's not having that silly shit. You see what he did to Chad Johnson when we got him. Changed his whole landscape as a player.
Chad Johnson didn't play.
That too.
Neutered. You guys have one?
Yeah, I got one.
You guys have
I sure do.
All right, we got 3 samples, so we got to wrap it up here. But we appreciate you watching. We'll be back next week for episode 187.
Chill.
Yeah, for sure.
Peace. We got samples coming.